This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of our guided walk. Look at the beautiful sunrise. My name is Sydney Afumurani Mikosi and I'm traveling with Sebastian, who is my camera operator this morning. And for in case if you need our attention, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. My plan this morning is looking for the spotted cats, specifically Hosanna. I am hearing the squirrels making quite a lot of alarm calls at the moment here by the quarantine. You can see the area is much more open and we can see far. But how it looks here is not how the whole game reserve looks like. The game reserve does have quite a lot of grasses. Some of them is just that they are very much dry. So only this portion of the quarantine, which is a small opening compared to the size of the park, is much more open and has got the low grasses for the animals to eat. So that's why at the moment we are not seeing quite a lot of animal activities here, because the grazers, they are now moved to the other different areas where there is food availability. So now let's quickly go to Koli, who is also looking at the sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Safari Live. We are coming to you live here in the Kruger. I'm looking at the sunrise. Joining us behind the camera is James Henry. Let's quickly take a look at this beautiful sunrise. It is always a blessing to see such a beautiful sunrise early in the morning, especially when you are in Africa. Good morning. This is wonderful. It's so gorgeous. Look at the color is red. It will turn to yellow in no heartbreaking time. And look at the clouds. It's a little bit cloudy, and we are lucky to have a chance to see this golden ball. I will leave the sunrise and quickly have a look at the hyena den. Hopefully we're going to see something amazing there. I can't wait to see the cubs. And one cub is changing now. I saw spots. It was black, now it's changing to brown. I saw spots. While I'm driving to the hyena den, let's quickly go to Steve in the Masai Mara.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mara Triangle in Kenya. My name is indeed Steve. I'm joined on camera by Big James, and you can see it's still pretty dark out here, so we are just bumbling along, seeing what we can find. We're going to see if we can find some cheetah this morning. There were some requests yesterday on Twitter. Some cheetah, so we're going to cut through. We're going to cut through here and head through to the river road and then over towards the burnt area and see if there are in fact any of those spotted individuals lurking around. I've been quite unsuccessful the last few days trying to find their Wino pride. Don't know where they're gone. They've just vanished, but no doubt when we stop looking for them, they will just materialize again. That's kind of way it works. And unfortunately, this Tuesday morning in front of us, we've got a little bit of a traffic jam. I'm sure the other two gentlemen down in Djuma have informed you of how to get in touch with us. #SafariLive, or throw any questions or comments on the YouTube chat stream. Very peaceful elephants in the early morning. The grass is still quite wet. Jumbo to you too, Bob. Good morning. Ground is still quite wet. Lots of dew condensation. It's been dripping off the roof for the last 20 minutes as I've been driving. The ground's nice and damp. That change between the night and the morning. Beautiful, peaceful morning here in the Masai Mara, where it is a very nice and constant every morning temperature of 17 degrees Celsius, 62 degrees Fahrenheit. I wonder if it ever changes. See these young elephants there. They've probably been doing pretty much exactly this for most of the night, with a couple bouts of rest and light slumber. Beautiful tusks in the marsh area, enjoying the green grass. No doubt the moistness of the grass is also quite acceptable to them. You can see the morning starting to break in the far east. Good morning, child of the universe. You want to know where the animals drink? Well, coming out of the mountain itself, I don't know if you were with me yesterday or yesterday morning, many times we do a little bit of an escarpment drive, and there's lots of springs popping out sort of at the base of the mountain, providing a lot of water. And all of these little river systems have still got some water in them. Just behind us on the right, there's actually a dry riverbed that the elephants have been digging through, digging into the sand to access the water. So there's a number of places all along the mountains. The water is popping out in springs down at the base. There's still rainfall every couple of days, so all of the pools and puddles that we find around are all inundated. There's still quite a bit of water around, not as much as there was in the July-August period, when Tristan and them were driving around in boats trying to navigate these areas. There's still adequate water, but then a lot of the animals will indeed be drinking from the river itself. We have some two young ones chasing each other coming up the back there, James, just behind this big female. Okay, well, we're going to go all the way back down to... Okay, well, they've chased each other into the scene, and now they've stopped. And now they're with the family. Let's go all the way back down to Sydney, who's on an ethnobotanical walk.
So we are right now under one of the comretums here. We can just see these flowers everywhere, and there's quite a lot of noise here. Listen. Oh, no, not that one. That is not the one I was looking for. So you can hear that there is a big bird on the background making some noise. That is the Hadida ibis. So it's those birds who are scared of the height. When they're high up and they start, and because they are afraid of the height. So that is just a joke associated with their call. So here I have got this blooming tree at the moment, and I can see there's quite a lot of insects, and the flowers are blooming, and I can see the bees and flies. So we are witnessing the trees breeding at the moment here in Djuma. So this is how they breed. Nothing is going to happen after this except for the seeds, and we are going to have some small plants coming out and the seeds taken away by the animals acting as an agent of seed dispersal. Listen to this noise from all these various kind of insects. Tracy, the flowering trees are the angiosperms. The deciduous trees, mostly those that lose leaves during the dry season, a lot of them, they are flowering. So here we have got the combretums, which are flowering at the moment, and we also got the terminalias and quite a lot of vachelias, the acacia trees. Now is their time. Some of them have already started. I'm so surprised because I'm walking past here every day, and the flowers, they were still attached to these plants. Now I can see they're starting to bloom. It's the first time I'm seeing the flowers blooming like this morning. So it was closed when I was passing every day. So now let's quickly go to Toli, who's got the hyena cubs.
Welcome back. Look what we have right now. This is Koki, the matriarch of this clan. You can see that she's with her cub. This cub is about 5 to 6 weeks old now. That's why it's changing the color. You can see on the front legs there are spots there, but they're not visible. In 6 weeks time to 7 weeks, he's gonna be full of spots. Oh, Cook is suspecting something because there's a squirrel shouting all over the place. Sorry about that. I think she's responding to that. Yes, indeed, Dory, the cub is getting big so quick. I didn't think it will take this short period of time to see spots. And for any of you, if you want to ask any questions, you want to send us comments, you can catch us on #SafariLive on Twitter or YouTube chat stream. Funny, we have 3 adults here. It's my first time seeing this adult on our right. I suspected that it was a male, but this adult is bigger to be a male. So I think it's a female. I don't know the name. It's my first time seeing her. I think she's part of the clan. And there's Pretty lying there with her cubs. Yes, Judy, I think Koki is held because I don't see any wound there. There's no opening, it's closed. Hopefully he's properly healed, and I think he's gonna make it for a long time. You can see her right shoulder there is properly healed. I'm sure she won't forget the lines. She will always be aware of her surrounding. Look what's happening now. I think Koki wants her cub to go back to the den. Oh, he's suckling there. Look at her ears, always up because they have to listen to the surrounding. Especially Koki has an experience of being attacked by a lion, so she will be aware at all times. It's a beautiful morning. Cool breeze. Can a wandering hyena join a clan? I think that it's normal, especially with the males who are the kids of the matriarch, because hyenas, they don't want to mate with their relatives, especially their kids. So if a hyena wants to mate, eventually he will leave the clan to another clan so that it will lose its status, and then it will have the rights to mate. More especially, the matriarch are attracted to the low-ranking males, which they are not related to. While we're looking at Koki with her spots, let's go to the Mara and see the tallest mammal in Africa.
Well, the spots are there, but they serve a very different purpose in the giraffe. The hyena clearly is for camouflage. In the tall giraffe, what they believe is there's capillaries that actually come to the surface on those patches and actually allow the animal to cool down, almost like all of those spots are heat pads. So indeed they do serve as a camouflage purpose, but one of their primary objectives is actually to cool the animal down. And if you take a thermal image of a giraffe, you'll actually see, especially when it's warm, you'll actually see that the brown spots will be hotter than the clear middle pieces. A whole lot of network of veins and capillaries go to those patches, and well, that's what enables the giraffe to cool down their really large body. Obviously wind blowing over those patches will pull the heat off, and the added benefit, of course, of the camouflage. Very tall neck giraffe feeding quite low down in this open marshy area. All of the trees that are around, the tall trees, are all just out of reach. They've clearly been pruned by the giraffe over numerous seasons, and all that is left is these smaller bushes that they have to contend with, feeding similar heights to the impala and the eland when they choose to browse. Loads of giraffe around. They're also enjoying the moisture that is condensed on the leaves, an added benefit to a tall, awkward drinking animal, being able to drink the leaves while you eat, almost like eating a salad. Get all your moisture requirements. Okay, well, let's go back down to the spots in Djuma, and I believe there might be some action.
Preeti has just attacked this hyena, I said. I haven't seen it before. I think he joined the clan a few days ago, or it's the member of a clan, I won't tell. But Preeti attacked the hyena because it was busy with her kids here. Her puppies. Oh, that's Preeti. You can see her 2 cubs with spots. That means they are older than Corky's cubs because they are about 2 months to 2.5. They're circling there. Preeti looks full this morning, and you can see her face is full of blood stains. I'm sure they had a very nice meal last night. Can you please stand up and show the viewers your tummy, please? Yes, she's very full. She can't even sit still. She can't even close her mouth. Yes, Michelle, this is huge, very huge. Oh! This is awesome. It's an amazing experience. My first time seeing a hyena peeing. Yeah. Normally females, the urine comes from the back, not from between the hind legs. Here it comes. You can see a hyena on our left. Malume, here's that hyena that's been attacked earlier on the left there. This is the hyena that's been attacked by Preeti. I'm not sure whether this hyena is related or not, but the way Preeti responded, I don't think it's related. Oh, here's the fourth cup, Malume. Here's the fourth cup. I think this is wonderful. Oh, it's the third cup. I thought it's the fourth cup. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's Pretty's cup. I thought it's the fourth cup. Sorry about that. I didn't see it when it went in the den. Here it goes. You have to leave because there's no room for you here in this den, man. It's foraging. This is what hyenas normally do during the day. They stay far away from the den so that the predators won't see or smell these hyenas. What is happening here this morning is so awesome. I think these cups will give us something here, but oh no. Go to Pretty there. Yes, I'm also enjoying this sighting, and as you can see, these cups, one is bigger than the other. I think the bigger one is a female, the smaller one is a male, but I'm not sure. But let's see. And as you can see, the positioning there, that big one is always on the good side to suckle. Oh, Charlotte, do all the hyenas with the babies stay in the same den? In my experience, that will be a yes. Maybe some other places they see something different, but one clan, they tend to gather in one den so that there will be protection from all the parents. What happened here a month ago was tricky and was confusing because Koki left the main den and she went to another den. She left Pretty on the other den. So I think they can go separately. Listen to that. So I think it depends on the mother where she wants to den. But since I've been in the bush, I saw a clan of hyenas using the same den. When they change the den, they all change. That's why we are here in the bush every day, because we see something new every day. I would say hyenas don't use separate dens. The following day I will see a hyena separating itself from the clan to use its own den. So to that one, it's about how nature works. Starting to rain now. We have a few drops from the sky. Look at this. This is beautiful. They will get a very rich, nutritious milk here. Look at that belly. Yes, it's full. This is the cup I think is the dominant one to the other cup. It's big. And it's taking all the positions to have a good suckle there. And Pretty looks tired. Giraffe girl, this is indeed incredible. especially when I look at these young chaps over here. They're giving us a very exciting sighting. That's Corky there. That's Corky's cup. You can see Corky's cup, it's transforming now. He was black, then he was a little bit brown, and then now he's developing spots. While we are looking at these hyenas with spots, let's go to Sydney with a cat with rosettes.
Here at the Viotella pen, and we have got what we are looking for. Here comes Hosana. He's drinking at the pen at the moment. You can see the little bit of his back when he's drinking there. So look at that. This is going to be an amazing sighting. He is so very much comfortable, and you can hear now some of the birds are making some noise, but that noise has got nothing to do with Hosana. He's so very much concealed where he is at the moment. So I can see that none of the animals are heading towards where we are. So it's just us and Hosana at the moment. Wendy is Sydney, the cat man. You can see the evidence there drinking at the moment. Not just Sydney. On a walk is Sydney, Herbert, the cat man. So yes, waiting to see when he's done. So we nearly passed him. He was so very much camouflaged. We saw his tracks, we were following the tracks, and we were sure he's somewhere in the area. But as we were checking then, we saw him drinking there. We have been to the pen, he was not there. So maybe because of the quality of a sighting, we've got to share this with the other viewers. A very good morning and welcome to the special broadcast. My name is Sydney Fumulani Mikosi, and I am live from the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park, Sabis and Juma Game Reserve, not far away from the Viotella pen. Look at that. I have got a lovely leopard here by the name of Osana, who is trying to have some drink at the moment. There is a small pen there, small dam, which is attracting a lot of prey animals to come and drink, and this is one of those cats who are using that advantage. You can see he's concealed there. Look at that. He's coming out. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This is amazing. This is an amazing sighting. Look at the leopard now right at the dam wall. Mark, this is a handsome boy indeed. Look at him. He's looking at this side, not specifically where we are. He's just scanning his area. He's very much static, and he's using that bush in front as a cover. Paula, we've got to be very careful, you're right, but the distance between us and him is enough. He's not very close to us at the moment, and I can see that he is looking at something much more this side. So we are very static where we are. Pam, this cat is so very big. Look at him. I don't want to talk loud now. Look at that. This is amazing. Look at it, nice and clear. This is a beautiful sighting. Look at that. He is right there looking at us just by the little opening. Look at that. Not even worried at all. Hosana, the little chief. So His father is the territorial holder. He's not a territorial male here where we are. So his father is like a chief in the area. This is the son. That is why we call him the little chief. Kelly, this is a wow sighting. Look at that. He's growing very fast. This cat is just about 2 years now. He's about to get to 3 years by the next coming February. By February, he will be 3 years. But look at how his body is growing. So it means where he is, the prey animals are densely populated. He's making it from there. Jonathan, indeed, that leopard is in a very good condition. Something you must remember is that when the vegetation is dry like this, when the animals are dying, the predators is when they get a lot of food. So if you look at the prey animals and the predators, prey animals are going to be thin during the dry season and predators are going to be growing big during that dry season, because when animals are dying is when they're eating. But here we haven't experienced a lot of mortalities yet. So animals, yes, some of them, some species are losing weight, but they're making it and the bush is slowly recovering. Thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. This brings us to the end of this very, very special broadcast. Welcome back. We are still at this amazing sighting. Hosanna got disappeared that side. You can see we are right at the opening because we just got him accidentally. We were still following the tracks and then we found Hosanna drinking. So it was very difficult to see him because he was very much concealed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to leave him here and see if we can find something else. So the experience of animals from the vehicles and driving is different, but I think this was one of those best sightings. So that's why we don't want to disturb him. For in case if he's interested to do hunt, let him go and hunt. So now let's cross over to Steve, who is by the Masai Mara. I miss Steve a lot.
How incredible to be able to get him on foot like that. It's always very special to watch Hosanna doing his thing. Well, we're still headed to the burnt area. Still a little bit of distance to go as we come along in the river road. Seen a couple of small antelope species, a few more elephants, but for now we're just going to try and get a little bit further up to the burnt area where hopefully we'll be able to pick up on some activity of a cheetah. That'd be nice. Of course, if you don't want to, folks, we can make another plan. But that is the idea for the morning. Still a little bit to go, though. We're going to be turning right in a little bit, and then we'll be able to get on some of these smaller tracks that take us through the big block. Everybody's getting excited. Very good, very good. Different habitats, different areas. I mean, there's potential to find lions in those areas as well, but the grass is almost none. It's very flat. It is still an area with lots of grazers around, but impossible for lions to stalk in an area like that. It's all about the cheetah and the stealth. The moving, the cheetah obviously able to stalk a distance and then launch an enormous fast pace. Child Universe, onward we go for cheetah. Indeed, bear with us, we've still got a little way to go until we're in the preferred sort of area. The road to all the crossings is coming up to the left here, an area we haven't really been utilizing the last little while because, well, there's no crossings. But David had Scarface just down here last night, which was super exciting. I still haven't seen that interesting looking gentleman. Oh, was it not Scar? Okay, I heard on the radio that it was Scar. Anyway, it was one of Scar's coalition. I didn't see it for myself. He's quite a recognizable figure. Definitely. You'd know if you saw him. Not that I've seen him in person, but I have. Julie, the sky is gorgeous. There are some clouds. It is still quite fresh. I think there's some rain happened somewhere last night. Not here though. You can feel it. There's this crispness in the air. It smells nice. It feels nice. Still got the gloves on. Excuse me. And hopefully this is temperature that'll still have cats moving about, doing their thing. Cool breeze. You'd think it would be easy, wouldn't you? Spot them. We spent some time with Kenya before I went on leave, and well, even though we knew where she was, it was still hard to see her. Those spots blend them in. It's a remarkable thing. I mean, you think the cheetah's going to stand out, but unless they're moving, they're just almost invisible to the ground. I found it amazing. Had James panning in and out, and unless you really knew where you were looking, especially in the low sort of light areas or conditions, they really do just blend in with their surroundings. So what you're generally looking for is the shape of one sitting on top of a termite mound. It's a little bit easier, but you know, we're going to be lucky. It's all about luck sometimes and picking the right route to go. We're going to be turning right shortly, going off-road, not off-road, but onto one of these little smaller tracks. That maybe we'll be lucky. Okay, well, while we continue to search for the spotted fast cat, let's go to the funny little ones with Polly down in Juma.
At long last, we're receiving some rain this morning. While we are off air, we've checked the identikit and we've discovered that was June. The hyena, I said, I don't know, it's my first time saying it. It's June. Her mother was Scarberg. I haven't seen Scarberg, but I'll find much information about her because she's deceased. Oh, but I think Pretty is getting mad at this young one. Her mom is there. Don't bother that one. You're a fool. Just relax and take it easy and let your cub suckle, please. Don't do that. I think she's annoyed by this cup, and she doesn't have any right to bother the cup because the cup belongs to the matriarch. Yes, Indigo girl, Pretty, she's not in a good mood this morning. I think because she's very full and the cubs are biting her a little bit on her nipples there, I think. That's why she's annoyed this morning. And just imagine when you are full, you ate a lot, and then you just don't want to move a lot. You just want to sleep and relax and let the digestive system take its course. But these cubs are all over Pretty now. That's why I think she's annoyed. As you can see, Pretty is full and Corky is not. They went to different area codes last night. Sorry, sorry, Corky, you're not so lucky yesterday. Listen to that. Ooh. Ooh. as I've said, you can see this this bigger one is biting that small one. I think this is a sign of being dominant. Hey Lee, I hope you're good this morning. Corky's cup outrank Preeti's cups because Corky is a matriarch. Her cup is born dominant. So Preeti's cups are less dominant to this young cup that is coming right straight at us this morning. Oh, 10 back. Hello, Putsununu. Even if you can see the spot patterns and the color of the fur, it's different. It shows that Preeti's cubs are older than Corky's cubs. Preeti's cubs are less dominant to Corky's cub. Ooh. This. Yes, Angela, indeed, they work hard, but they get easily annoyed when they are full because you can see Preeti is giving her cub some discipline there. She doesn't want them next to her. What's wrong? Feed your babies. You sign a contract to get pregnant and have babies. These are your babies. Then you must deal with them. Please don't harass them this morning. Pretty sure he's not in a good mood today. They're quiet now. Yes, look at that. Even if they are born with teeth, they are so gentle when they're suckling. This is beautiful. And I'm sure where they're sleeping now, it's next to the den. It's a termite mound. We had a very hot weather yesterday, so termite mounds store a lot of heat. So sleeping next to it, it gives them a very warm feeling because we had a little bit of rain this morning and it's cloudy, so sleeping there, I'm sure it's nice. Corky's she's in a good mood this morning. Yes, Deborah, this is too cute. Can see, oh, are they kissing or what? Corky's being a mother today compared to Preeti. Can see she's playing with the cup there. It's licking. That keeps the bond tight. You can see most animals, they lick each other and they lick their young ones. That's what they do to groom them. And besides, Corky does not have a lot of work because she's only have one cup. And Preeti has to eat a lot because he's got two mouths who's supposed to suckle. Nice one. Yes, Abel. Even my favorite cup is Corky's one because you can see the fur. It's beautiful, dark, and a little bit black compared to those ones. Not saying I don't like pretty cubs. I love them, but my favorite one is the small one, which is Corky's cub. I think we have to give this cub a name, but we'll wait and see whether someone gives it a name, or I give it a name, or Malume James Henry give it a name. Polar stick snack, yes, indeed. He's bored because those two young ones, they are busy suckling, and he's in a playful mode. I don't know why hyena cubs do this. It's not my first time seeing hyena cubs trying to have some stick snack or snack stick. Stick snack, snack stick, yes. I think there's a reason behind that, or they just playing, or they feel bored and then they feel like they can pick and play with something, so they choose sticks rather than eating a rock or a stone there to break their teeth. It's so quiet out here. This is a beautiful sighting. This is why I love my job. Oh my goodness. Look at that. You want to take that plant down, but they're too young to break such branches, man. Oh, look at the face. Cute. Remember, a few weeks ago, the face was black. The ears were black, but now it's all changing. This chap is growing up quickly. I can't wait to see you as an adult running Chuma's grounds. Yes, Caroline. Hyena cubs are so interesting to look because hyena cubs are born with teeth, and they're born with their eyes open. That's what makes them the cubs to look at in most cases, because they're different from the other cubs of the animals, or like the cats or dogs. The baby hyenas enter the world ready to rumble, and they are born black. You remember that? Tiny teeth already broken through their gums and their eyes opened. This is interesting, right? Just imagine. But the interesting part is this: even if they are born with their teeth out, they don't bother the nipples. They suckle so gentle. As you can see now, Preeti's cubs are suckling and she's asleep. So it means though they can use their mouth when suckling. This is a wonderful sighting. These spots and the fur looks good because it hasn't been through a lot. Still new, no scars, nothing. But wait for it to grow and be an adult. It will all change. While I'm looking at these beautiful creatures, let's go to Sydney on a bushwalk.
So look at that. I've got the African cuckoo right on top of the amarula tree. It's one of those species which are very difficult to see when they are somewhere hiding by the trees. Look at that. So at this stage, we are experiencing quite a lot of bird life. They are starting to come back now. Oh, there it's going. So a lot of birds are coming from the migratory activities at the moment. We do have the three types of migration, which is the Palearctic migration, where these birds are leaving South Africa all the way to Europe. And then we have got these, what is called, oh, that's my alarm. And then we apologize for that. And then we have got the intra-migration, which is the type of migration taking place within the continent Africa. And then we have got the altitudinal migration. Here, the altitudinal migration is the birds that are living from high altitude to the low altitude and low altitude to the high altitude. What are the motives behind this migration? Let's look at the vegetation now. It's much more open. So these birds can easily get predated. As birds, they do predate each other. And by this time, you find high level of parasitism, quite a lot of parasite, especially the ectoparasites or the parasites which are affecting the animals on the outside, such as the ticks, the fleas, all these kind of small parasites is when there is a lot of them during this kind of a season. And food availability is very much important. So the trees, a lot of them don't have a lot of fruits at the moment. So the birds that eat fruits, they battle for food. And that eat insects, they also battle for food as well. So that is why these birds, they've got to do something which is called hypophagy. Hypophagy is a term which means concentrating on a lot of energy food before they go on migration and before they come back. When they are by the outside, coming back to their original place, they must eat so that they can take long flights. So they fly long distances. Louis, we've got the flightless dung beetles. The flightless dung beetles in South Africa, they are very popular in the area called the Addo Elephant National Park. Addo Elephant National Park is somewhere near the Port Elizabeth. So there they've got flightless dung beetles. Here in Djuma, we do have a lot of dung beetles which fly, and that is how they navigate for the sand and find food. Some of them are so large in such a way that when they land, instead of landing on their feet, they land on their back like this. And you will see after a while it's going to wake up and start moving. So we do have the dung beetles who does fly. So it's not a lot of dung beetles yet. We are just seeing them here and there. The droppings are still unattended. They will be back after maybe next week, after the rain, as the forecast is expecting some rain tomorrow in the area. After that rain, we might have quite a lot of insects availabilities. Paula, the biggest insect I've seen is the stick insect. So the stick insect, they are very thin, but in terms of length, they are much big. They are bigger than these small ones. But the most big insects in terms, not of the length, of the size, the big one is the cricket. So now let's cross over to the Masai Mara, where Steve can't wait to show you something.
Welcome back. We are searching through these open plains, the burnt area. It's commonly known because, well, the whole area was burnt, interestingly enough. And, well, proliferation of Thompson's gazelle in the area, the primary or one of the largest food sources for cheetah in the Mara Serengeti area, making up about 60% of their diet. And cheetah love them. It's almost been an arms race between the two species to see who can get faster and who can sidestep better. So these youngsters, a couple of young females there, they're all enjoying the short grass after the burnt area. They'll keep mowing it nice and short. And, well, we're stopping all along this area and looking and scanning the landscape. Lots of termite mounds, lots of vantage points. You can probably hear a Cokie Franklin shouting in the background there. See the Thompson's gazelle gets its teeth right down, or lips right down onto the ground, enjoys the short grass habitats. And this is the habitat for cheetah. Indeed, we just have to find one. And surprisingly, you'd even think that these Thompson's gazelle would stand out from a distance, but if you actually pan out and try and look at them, they do blend in quite nicely, and similar to impala, there's kind of like a three-tone sort of shade to them in the sunlight, something called counter shading, which enables the sunlight on the back to lighten the back to an equivalent sort of light to that of the belly, which allows them to really blend in quite well. MDR, they do have very nice little tails, and I suppose if it wasn't for the tails, they would be almost invisible on these landscapes. But the cheetah spot them. Cheetah are looking out for them, but there are enormous amounts of prey animals on the landscape. Up on the hill, there are thousands of wildebeest. Hello, Tatiana. Gazelles are essentially antelope. Impala is an antelope. A gazelle is just sort of a subgroup within the antelopes. All of the sort of gazelles have got slightly different sort of adaptations to them. Most gazelles, male and female, have got horns, where not generally all antelope have got horns, but all gazelle, male and female, have got horns, and they've all got this sort of tricolour coloration to them, the white with the black stripe and the golden. Invariably you find gazelle in sort of more semi-arid areas than you do antelope, but they are essentially antelope. It's just one of those strange names, and I also had a bit of a thought about it a while ago. I was asked what is the difference, and we pondered amongst ourselves, and essentially gazelles are just within the antelope family. They're just slightly different. And I hope my answer suffices there for you. There's not too much else really about it. These antelope, well, gazelle generally favour grassland areas, more open areas. And well, the Thompson's gazelle, I don't think I've ever seen an animal that has a tail that quite moves as fast as theirs do. Some serious tail muscles there. And up on the horizon, ahead of us, there is a huge herd of wildebeest all over the place. There's some more Tommies, and the whole horizon is littered with wildebeest. And well, we're going to keep scanning and see if we can find one of our fast cats. In the meantime, it seems like the bushwalk team is having a ponder and looking at the clouds.
I have got something here to show you which is very much interesting. I have got this baboon's tail, some they call it a monkey's tail. So this is one of the xerophatic species. So a xerophatic species is the species that can be able to survive by the harsh condition. These trees, they can survive where there is a shortage of water. Hydrophatic species are the species which can survive where there is waters. Something happened here. I'm sure this happened last week. This kind of trees, they were growing some leaves. You can see here, some of the leaves are green, but they are now changing. They are becoming dry again. And I even saw some of them blooming. They were starting to open the flowers. But now, look, the leaves which are new, they are dying again. So what is killing the leaves now is not the sun specifically. It's the tree itself. And this is how it works. The trees, they know that when the water is not coming, they are going to be using the reserved nutrients in order to maintain these leaves. So instead of doing that, the tree managed to grow back the leaves and suspend the leaves so that they can minimize the energy supply to the leaves, which might jeopardize the whole survival of the tree. It's what is happening here. So the leaves now are dry because these leaves, they need quite a lot of nutrients maintenance. To avoid maintenance, this monkey's tail, baboon's tail decided to suspend life of these leaves. So it means soon as the rain comes, everything will go back again and they will have to prepare for the new leaves, and that is when they are going to bloom again. I saw the flowers last week, nice flowers from this. So it's very much interesting seeing that the tree which was, the trees that has been growing nicely last week, this week everything is just done. Animals do eat here. Come and you can see the evidence that something was eating. When the kind of leaves are still fresh, we do have animals that eat. But these kind of leaves, they have got very strong texture. So the animals must only eat them when they're still very fresh. Once they get matured, it's difficult to digest. This is one of those things people are using to do even the table mats. It's one of the very strong leaves from the grasses. You can see I can't even break it. It's difficult. Paula, now I cannot say we are on drought. We are still facing the dry season because we are just about a week now away from the mid-November. And mid-November is when already we are starting to get the first rain. So it means now we are just behind by a week or two behind the good rains. And there is a forecast for tomorrow. Then maybe this week and next week is what's going to determine the dry or the drought season. At the moment, look at the bush here right in front of me. You can see that the bush is starting to get dry. It's starting to get green, and also quite a lot of bushes there are getting green. So that is showing you that there is something happening. And on the ground as well, look, the grasses are starting to also bring back the green color. When it's dry, is when everything is just going to turn dry and gray. Look here, animals can still come here and have something to eat. The grasses are starting to come back. So it's not yet the drought season. It's still the dry season. So now let's go back to the Juma Hyena Den.
This is happening here in Juma live. These two cubs are playing, beautiful cubs, trying to sharpen their skills so that they will use them in future. Oh, that hurts. Now, at long last, you have friends to play with, buddy. What's happening here? These three cubs are playing. This darker one is having a lot of energy to play. These ones, they've been suckling, so they are not in a playful mode. They've been feeding for long now, so they need to rest, I think. So this one, oh, come here. Come a little bit closer. No, it does not come next to me. Come here. Come here. This is beautiful. Not far away from the vehicle now, and they are more relaxed. What are you guys doing there? Yes, Paula, they're so curious and biting and breaking the branches there. That's why hyenas have strong jaws. This is what they do at an early age. Look at James, can you quickly go to Pretty, please, and see what...
Sorry about that.
Pretty... Cookie's cup was licking Pretty, like, on the face. Look, what's happening? Pretty's not in a good mood, man. She's really not in a good mood. She's indeed grumpy this morning. Oh, we have a new viewer, Philip, if I'm not mistaken. Blitz. Oh, not Philip, Blitz. Sorry about that. Blitz, a new viewer. Thank you for watching Safari Live and keep on watching it. Hyena cubs, they sleep for a long time, I think, because we don't normally see that because they are stashed in a den inside there. So during the day and during the night, like the mothers or the parents, they move away from the den. They don't stay in a den. So I think at that time, cubs are sleeping in the den. So I think when they live here, because they are here to feed their cubs, and then after that they will leave the area. They will go and sleep maybe far away from the den. Then the cubs will go back in the den. I think from that time until the time where they will be back, these cubs will be sleeping. They feed for a long period of time. I think that will contribute in sleeping more hours when the parents are away. Live pretty, man. Can you please live pretty? You can see she's not in a good mood this morning. She will give you a bite today. And she's trying to sleep and take a nap and relax. She's full. You can see she's breathing heavily there. Trying to digest. And yes, look at that one. It's biting the ear. Yes, there is going to be some discipline this morning right here in Juma. And while she's trying to relax, she has to look around to scout, to look for the kids and look out for predators that might put them in danger. Look at that one sniffing. I wonder what injured your ear, Pretty. I think she's suspecting something. But Pretty is not, she doesn't want to stay still this morning. Your tummy is bothering you. Who said you must eat the whole impala? Her belly seems like she devoured the whole impala last night. You know, the hyenas, they don't stop feeding. As long as there's meat, there's flesh, there's a bone, they just want to go and take everything in their tummy. Oh, look at that. Yes, I'm also loving this morning with these youngsters and their parents running around, jumping around, trying to crush things, trying to break branches. This is wonderful. Cookie's cup is busy this morning. You're gonna use those skills when you grow up, chap. Cookie's cup is a male, as we know. So, in the meantime, it doesn't dominate the dominant Pretty. And obviously when he grows up, he will be less dominant than Pretty because he's a male. If it was a female, he will outrank Pretty, obviously, because female hyenas who are born under matriarchal parents, they automatically be dominant to the other low-ranking females or members of the hyena clan. Things are happening on top there. Yes, Tracy, for sure. I think if that thing happens while Cookie's watching, obviously she will be mad at Pretty. So Pretty normally does these things when corkies asleep or far away from here or looking on the other side. For sure, if you see your kid or your child being bothered by somebody else, obviously you'll intervene and protect your kid. So I think corky will do the same. Things are happening on top there. The youngsters are active this morning. They are not grumpy as pretty. You wanna go on top? Don't go, we must go down slowly. Oh, there's Corky's cup on top there. You must go down slowly, buddy. Please. Oh, ooh, ooh. What a playful morning. This is happening here right next to us. And James, being the camera operator, he's doing a wonderful job. While we are looking at this wonderful action with the cups, let's go to Steve in the Mara and give us an update.
Playful cubs, aren't they just the funniest? Well, we are still moving through this open grassland. There's loads of everything, loads of wildebeest, loads of Thompson's gazelle everywhere, scanning and scanning and scanning. Can't see any cheetah, can't see any lion either, but there's lots and lots of prey animals. So we're going to just keep moving through and every so often stop, scan again with the binoculars, because if I just stop here and you just have a look to the right, you'll see how far you can see. You can see for miles, you can see all the way to the escarpment. And well, if there is anything hiding there, we would be able to see it. We're looking for telltale signs of the animals being jumpy, grouping together, looking in certain directions. Any form of behavior that might lead to any form of predator. And obviously we're searching for a cheetah, but well, a pride of lion. If we came across them, we wouldn't shun them, would we? So as far as the eye can see, they are plains game, moving through, heads down, loads of animals feeding. That area there's the marsh or the swamp where we were yesterday. Tell the universe, I don't think there's too much in it when it comes to cats eating meat. It doesn't really matter what meat it is, it's meat. So it's not like when we talk about bees having a mixed diet of pollen or us having a mixed diet, which leads to health. Meat is meat. So it's all game, it's all venison, so it's all pretty healthy as it is. There's no hormones, there's no all sorts of weird stuff that's put into the meat that humans eat. So game meat is game meat, and lions, leopards, cheetah will eat whatever they can get. Obviously, some of them liking fresher meat than others. And you can still see as far as the eye can see. So I hope that answers your question. I don't think there's really much in it. Obviously, they'll eat whatever meat they can get, but a meat eater is a meat eater. The meat is all pretty much in good condition. There are loads of wildebeest around, folks, loads. The migration, as we discussed, has turned around, and, well, they're all back on the plains here. The lions must be thinking Christmas has come early, which it has, in fact. We're going to keep moving around. We've got some really nice vantage points in these open areas, and, well, if there is a cat, namely a cheetah, well, hopefully we'll be able to spot it. There's a good chance that the reason we haven't seen any of late is they aren't around. We had that for some time last month when I was here. The cheetah all just vanished, and then suddenly out of nowhere they appeared again. But there's no reason for them to have moved off. There's plenty of food for them around in the form of Thompson's gazelle, young wildebeest as well. If they're a coalition of males, they can easily catch a young wildebeest. And, well, there's impala as well in areas. And the topi, a lot of the topi have got little youngsters as well, which, well, perfect snack for a cheetah. But everywhere we look, the animals are pretty relaxed. Heads down, feeding. Zebra, wildebeest, gazelle. Everyone's making the most of a quiet predator morning. We'll continue on, and no doubt at some point we'll come across an area where the wildebeest, all the animals are bunching together, and then we might be able to spot something. There's quite a big bunch of wildebeest all the way down on the other side there, so we're slowly making our way there. We'll see if we can get there and see what we might be able to see in the open. Are you all still with us? I hope so. Don't forget to send through your questions and comments, hashtag SafariLive, or drop them on the YouTube chat stream. There's a wonderful Tuesday morning. Cheetah Tuesday, we're hoping. It is a very gorgeous view, folks. This is what I'm going to miss the most about this place, is just this wide open expanse. Really put the binoculars to good use. I mean, I could see all the way back to our camp, all along the plains, and just animals. I remember when I came up a month and a half ago, I think it was Brent said to me, "Oh, you're going to have missed the migration." Well, wasn't he wrong? I've seen so many animals, and now with this whole change in climate and possibly manipulation or burning practices happening in Serengeti, a little bit out of season, the wildebeest have all come back. Maybe not all of them, but when I got back 2 weeks ago, there were no wildebeest around, and now these plains that were teeming with them a month and a half, 2 months ago, are once again littered with huge masses of animals. And maybe that's why the cheetah's nowhere to be seen. It's probably well fed, lying underneath a tree somewhere. Okay, well, it seems as if Holly and Pat are tag teaming. Lots and lots of interesting stuff to talk about with the Juna clan.
Yes, I have been tagged into the hot seat, and now I get the pleasure of witnessing this amazing hyena sighting. My name is Patrick, and joining me on camera we have Mr. Henry. If you have any questions, any comments about these hyenas or anything else that's happening in the show, please use that hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or the YouTube chat stream. So, spending a morning at the hyena den is just the best way to start the day. We've got the matriarch Corky on the left, the subordinate Pretty on the right, and we are looking at her cuffs. So there we go, sorry.
Start that again.
Let's start that again. So we've got the matriarch Corky right there on camera, and then to the right here we have the subordinate Pretty, and then somewhere in the vicinity we also have the 3 cubs. So one of them does belong to Corky, which is the youngest, and then he's a young male, and then we have a young female and another young male that belong to Pretty. And they have made our job difficult by running away. They're actually a surprising distance away from the den right now. I would say probably a bit over 50 meters, or no, about 50 meters, so about 110 feet, no, 150 feet. Sorry about that, my conversions there. And yeah, they are slowly starting to become more confident. These ones are probably about 2 to 3 months old at the moment, maybe a little bit older. And you will not often see them moving far away from either the den or their parents at this stage, but slowly, bit by bit, they'll start adding to that range, getting a little bit more confident, getting a little bit better at recognising their surroundings and recognising danger and knowing what's safe and what isn't. And of course they always have the ears of their parents protecting them. Diane, the spot patterns of the cubs will tend to stay the same as they get older, so they won't really change. So now that they have grown into that little spot pattern, it will grow with them. Thanks for that question, Diana, and please, if you do have any more, feel free to send them in. So we do see them sniffing around in the grass, probably looking for a nice branch or a twig to chew on, get those jaws nice and primed for when they're older and need to use it. We've got a little bit of, I don't know, it's just displacement there. Yeah, looks like Pretty might have noticed something. One of the cubs was starting to run, but all seems to be fine. I could just watch these little guys play all day long. Hello to everybody watching along. Thank you all for joining in today. I'm glad you're all enjoying this sighting as much as I am. Now this play is it's great to watch. It's funny. It's entertaining, but it's also serving a bit of a purpose as well, because we can see here, even just from this instance here, despite being the youngest cub here, Corky's cub is clearly dominating the other two, and this is because it is the son of the matriarch. So despite being a male, so females do hold the higher ranks, despite being a male, it is still the dominant one at the moment. This will change as it does get older, but for now, he's pretty much the prince of the place and can get away with doing whatever he wants. And you'll even see that dynamic with the cubs towards Corky as well. The Pretty's cubs will often not get close to Corky, and when they do, Corky will just give him a little nip or a little, you know, go away, and they will be gone in the blink of an eye. Oh, looks like that one's had enough. I think that is the female cub. April, yes, I definitely agree that his name should be Trouble. He is a little troublemaker. And it looks like the female, yeah, this is definitely the female cub of Pretty's that is chasing Corky's cub around. I'm sorry, this is just too good. It is the female, so perhaps now that the female's starting to grow up a bit, she's realised that she doesn't really need to take this. Maybe giving it a little bit of cheek back. What gold. So now the third cub, the young male, has been left to himself. I'm sure looking for the adventure, and here they come back around the left hand side here. Now what's interesting about hyenas is that if you weren't to have any experience out here with the bush, say if it was your first time to see them, you wouldn't really be too frowned upon if you thought that they were related to dogs. I thought that the first time I was introduced to hyenas. I thought that they definitely would have to be closely related to dogs, but it's actually the group that contains your animals like mongoose that they are related to. So most people will go either way, they'll go cats or dogs, but that is not the case, which is pretty surprising. But I also believe that that is the reason why their brains are so developed. They're so good at problem solving, so intelligent. Yeah, currently looking at Pretty, who has had a very big night on the feed. She's quite massive this morning, and it's showing, it's really shining through. She's very lazy, but she's also very grumpy. Anytime the cubs have come up to feed, she's not taking it too well. She's really not taken well to Corky's cub this morning. Actually, Corky's cub went to suckle on her. Well, let's leave the vertebrates and go to Sydney on bushwalk, where I believe he has found some invertebrates.
I've got the invertebrate with me. An invertebrate is an animal without a backbone. So if you look here, there is a crack. This is not a skeleton. So there's a crack here on the side of the top part of this animal. This was an arachnid. It was a spider. So the spiders, when they're going through this process of insta or molting, some call it ecdysis, where they take off the old skin in order to get the new skin to adapt and to grow. You know, the animals such as spiders and insects, those who are doing molting and ecdysis, they are so very much restricted to grow until they take the shade of the skin. That allows the body to grow. But by the spiders, also it helps. If you look at these legs here, the legs has got how many knees? Let me try to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm seeing 6 knees here. If this spider loses one of the leg, if the leg breaks, let's say here, if the spider is doing insta for about the 15th time, that spider still has got a chance in order to regenerate the whole leg from the top to the bottom. So they've got to go through the stages of instas 20 times. So if he is left with 3 stages, it means if he's on stage 17, when the leg is growing back, it's going to look same as adults. But if he loses the leg when he's left with 1 round of insta, so it means the leg is going to look much thinner and shorter. Then you can notice the difference. So when these kind of invertebrates are going through this ecdysis, is when they are vulnerable, because they lose a lot of energy and the skin is too soft. So they must have to wait until the skin get harder so that they can do their patrol and also foraging. So you can see there's some birds calling here. So this was a rain spider. So you can see easily where he cracked to come out. So the spiders, some of them are too clever. They are sit and wait predators. They don't want to waste much energy by going for hunt. Yes, some they hunt, but those that are staying by the web, they are clever, because only when you touch the web is when they are going to be active, which means when they are eating or when they have eaten, they can easily conserve energy. So they're just like a computer. If you leave computer open for a while, it's going to switch off the screen to conserve energy. But when you touch it, it's going to open again. Spiders, they do the same. And the spiders, they do bite, it's true. Some of them are venomous, so they can also give you severe pains, and they can also affect your skins, like the cytotoxic venom, which can affect your tissue skin. They are so small, but they've got quite a very interesting behavior. What I like about some of these spider species is that when you see the silk is not only about catching the prey. They can use the silk as well for the demarcation of their territory. And when they are leaving behind the silk, if another intruder comes, can be able to pick up from the silk how long this one was here. And again, they can pick up the reproductive status of the female. Some of these spiders, they can even use the silk in order to seal the female after breeding with them. After mating with a female, because they don't want anybody else to come after them, they can seal that female with their own silk, which is very strong, so that no other spiders can come and mate after them. Interesting. Wendy, the dead skin does not have anything at all. It's just the skin, and I haven't seen any of the insects trying to eat that. So all the nutrients and all the vitamins, they are gone with the body itself. So there's no need. That skin doesn't have anything at all. And if you check, the spiders has got some hairs as well there. So I'm sure that is also something which can discourage these other insects from coming to eat. So instead, they would rather go for the spider itself, not the skin. So now we are going to be checking much more towards the southern side to see if we can find something interesting for you. For now, let's cross over to the Masai Mara.
Visitors, good luck on foot there. We are still searching. So many animals out here. Oh, a whole lot of wildebeest running to the left there. I wonder what spooked them. You see them, James, just off to the left. All running, all running, all running. They do that though sometimes, hence the name wild cow, wildebeest, derived from the settlers, first settlers to Africa. They saw these wild cow looking like animals running, and well, that is what they do. Once one runs, they all pick up steam and start moving. Such a marvelous area to spend time in, to scan and scan, and it's just so many animals, but so far not a single predator. Well, they're all lying up flat somewhere. There's lots of vultures in the trees, but sporadically, no real accumulation of them. A vulture here, a vulture there, nothing to really give us any sort of idea of where something might be lurking. I think the lions are all counting themselves very lucky that this is all going on again, all of this food, and they probably all just really are fat. They thought it was going to be a couple of months of lean times and they were going to get their exercise in and move around. But they're probably all just enjoying some quiet time. And they're all running. We're going to see if we can get down there and see exactly what's causing them to run. But I've scanned towards the back of the herd. There's nothing seems to be going on. MDR, well, the stampede happens. You hope there is no stampede. Well, you know, we won't get in the way of it. But it is always so cool to see thousands of wildebeest running. It's always one will start and then they all go, well, I don't know why he's running, but I better go. And that's kind of how the migration, I suppose, works. There seems to be all sorts of stuff happening down the bottom there. I can't see any predators there, but we're going to race down there and see what we can see. It's possible there might be some cheetah chasing them around. We saw that a while ago with two unknown males. They kind of just ran into a herd of wildebeest, and well, the wildebeest started behaving a little bit like that, a little bit awkward, running all over the place, not quite sure what to do with themselves. And well, the cheetah weren't very successful because, you know, you've got to be quite a strong cat to bring down the wildebeest, and normally it takes a coalition of cheetahs to do so. 3, 4, maybe 5 even. 2 inexperienced youngsters, well, they seemingly didn't have the right technique. But it is a wonderful area, is it not? Just as far as the eye can see, wilderness. And the fire burnt through here to reduce the grass to a very low level, which is what the wildebeest love. Good news, good morning. You want to know if gnus and wildebeest are related? Well, in fact, good news. A gnu is a wildebeest. A gnu is the sound that a wildebeest makes. Gnu, gnu, gnu. And they actually are named both. Gnu is probably the English word, or the the African descriptive word for the sound that they make, and would have been used by many Europeans. But wildebeest is the term given to them by the original Dutch settlers that arrived here. And because of the wild means wild, and beest means cow. So they look like a wild cow, but the gnu is the sound that they make. So invariably they are the same thing. The origin of the word gnu I'm not 100% sure of, but I'm pretty certain it comes from the sound. And the gnus in South Africa have a lot more gnu sound to them than the ma, ma, ma. These guys sound like a bunch of frogs, to be honest. So that is essentially where it comes from. Okay. Lee, I've never felt it actually. I've never felt that chin hair. It looks relatively soft. It does look relatively soft. Maybe the next carcass that I find, because this area is littered with carcasses, I might go and give it a little bit of a touch with my hand and see what it feels like. But it also probably quite bristly. It looks quite soft, but it's probably quite bristly. And the purpose of it, I have absolutely no idea. The white-bearded wildebeest or white-bearded gnu. Down in South Africa, we've got the brindled gnu that have got those sort of zebra-like stripes on the side of the body, little indentations and patches of black fur along the side. And these are the white-bearded, but I've never felt the beard. But we're going to carry on and see what exactly it is that has caused all those wildebeest to move in such a way. And they all seem to be calming down once again down in the bottom. So maybe they're just having a little bit of a social. It is actually very cold. I think it's dropped from the 17 we started with this morning. It's dropped a few degrees. There's a nice wind chill factor around, and I'm wishing I had a long pair of pants on. It's probably the coldest morning I've experienced here. And maybe that's what's gotten into the wildebeest. They're like, we need to run around to warm ourselves up. A little bit of Ashtanga yoga could get us all nice and warm now, and maybe that's why the wildebeest are moving like that. But a gentleman, I am certain, is not cold. He's walking quite deliberately in the bush. Sydney is on bushwalk.
So we have got a nest here. By looking at this nest and the design, I can tell that this has been a waxable. You know, nesting by the birds is very much interesting. When the bird has got the chicks, you must check. When the bird has got babies, the first weeks of the babies, the birds must have to eat droppings of their own little ones. Until their little ones starts to digest the hard material is when they will leave it. But at the beginning, for them to clean the nest, they eat those droppings. But after that is when they will take them out all the time, and which is something very much interesting. So the birds, they've got to build this nest sometimes not just as a shelter. They do it in order to attract the females for mating purposes. Some of the females, they got invited to come and inspect, and they would look at the nest and say, no, I cannot stay here. You must have to make it better. The male must have to build another one. And if she doesn't allow that, the male must have to have an alternative option for him to convince that female. If he's really falling in love with the female, he must then go and look for the fruits and approach the female and try to nest the female to show that I am able and highly capable of looking after you. Please, I love you and I want to be with you. So that is how it happens. So when the female is convinced with the nest is when she will join and they will stay together. So that is interesting. Yeah, the nest, it doesn't look very stable at the moment because you can see it has been destroyed already. And remember, animals are nesting by the trees, which are also eaten by some of these animals. And animals such as the elephants can push and disturb. The wind as well can be able to destroy the nest as well. So then the nests are much more clear now. Some, they come back and fix their old nest. And some, they come back to the same trees after migration and build the new nests. Some, they stay by the same trees. They leave here to the other areas and come back to the same areas. those are the yellow-billed hornbills. I can see them right there. Those ones are lucky because hornbills normally use the nest which is dug by the woodpecker. They just make it nice and bring some mud and stay in there. Bob, indeed, it is a romantic story. So birds, they even got to go and wash themselves. Birds has got various ways in order to clean themselves before they go and convince females. They've got one which is called dust bathing. They will come here by the dust and just play in dust to get rid of the parasites and to clean themselves. Then they will do water bathing. They will go in water and wash themselves. Some they will do a sunbathing. You'll see them doing like this when they're trying to use the sun to get rid of the parasites. The interesting one, and this one I like the most because insects are my favorite, is anting. The name anting is coming from the fact that the ants are involved in this cleaning process. The bird will come here on the ground and they will look for the ants. And they will provoke the ants. Ants will react by releasing a chemical, which is called a formic acid. Then the formic acid serves as an antiparasitic, and it helps in order to get rid of the parasites. So when they're doing that is when they're chasing the parasites. After that is when they're clean and they can be able to go and look for the females. Some, they do what is called allopreening. Preening is when a bird is cleaning itself. Allopreening involves a partner cleaning each other. So these partners, they clean each other. So now let's quickly go back to Pat, who has found Hosanna.
Welcome back to Hosanna Watch. The mood is tense. Not really, we have a flat cat right here. We did locate Hosanna and we were hoping to get some action out of him this morning, but well, we have what we are used to seeing, which is him relaxing, not really doing a great deal. Now, we did have a run-in with him last night with Lauren, and she saw him with a hyena and with some antelope like wildebeest and impala, but we're not sure whether he ended up actually going hunting at all last night. Right now his breathing is very slow. It is cool, so there is that factor, but so we're not sure whether he's actually eaten anything last night. And although it is daylight right now, leopards do tend to hunt more at night. It is a cool, really overcast day. It's not exactly bright out right now, so there is a chance that he may still get up and go hunting, but for now he is dead to the world, off with the fairies, as we would say back home. Yes, Mita, he is doing what he does best, and that is fully relaxing. I like to think that I like him in that sense. And look at the size of those paws. He is a growing boy, getting bigger and bigger by the day. Up to his rosettes. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Those spots, of course, keeping him camouflaged. And, I mean, personally, when I look at a leopard, just say against a neutral background, you wouldn't really think that they're that much of a camouflage animal, but seeing them out here in the wild, especially amongst long grass or bushes such as these, it really does show just how camouflaged they can be. And we did see it the other day when he was in these bushes, and there was so many impala that came down to drink from the waterhole without even noticing him at all. So they're the masters of stealth, these leopards. Oh, what's this? Yes, what Steph, those shoulders are very muscular. I think I could be doing chin-ups all day and not get anywhere close to the power and the strength that Hosanna and the other leopards have. And that is for a purpose, of course, hoisting their kills. I'm sure we're all familiar with leopards hoisting their kill up a tree, and they must use those strong muscles to get up there, holding the prey in their mouth. And sometimes they climb extreme distances as well. I've seen them scale really tall trees with sometimes a full-grown impala in their mouth. And yeah, Hosanna's really starting to grow into himself now. He's he's flexible, he's really becoming a great leopard. But, you know, that could all change. He is starting to come into sexual maturity in the next few months, and this is going to change a lot for him. He is in his father's territory right now and kind of flying under the radar. He's not much of a threat, but that could change. And his father Tingana is also getting quite old, and there is a neighbouring leopard named Hukamori that also wants to come in and take this territory, or at least it seems that way. So while life might be good and peaceful for this little leopard right now, you never know what's going to happen in the future. But I think if anyone is going to defy the odds and take hold of this territory in the years to come, it will be Hosey. He's a fascinating cat. Very fascinating, always full of surprises. What he's doing right now is not very surprising though. Well, let's leave our flat cat even, and head over to Mara with the Vov.
Thanks, Pat. Of course, Hosanna is sleeping. He's either sleeping or eating. He takes after his dad very well in that regard. Well, out in the open, we've got a number of Thompson's gazelle that were running a moment ago. That's because we'd frightened some warthogs that were running all along the plain. And the warthog is that sort of height that kind of gives away a little bit of an appearance to all sorts of antelope, that there's something predatory running with stealth. But in fact, it was just a warthog with loads of little piglets. They've disappeared now, but there are an abundance of Thompson's gazelle and warthog with their little piglets in this area. We haven't quite yet figured out what it is that caused all those wildebeest to go charging off, doing a big loop around to get there. But for now, lots and lots of young Tommies. This would be ideal hunting grounds for cheetah. There's also quite a lot of cover for them as well. These little termite mounds around, little bits of cover, little vantage points to be able to get close enough before launching incredibly fast attacking strike. There we go, another small little family unit. Oh, you want to see the piggies? We are going to try and find them for you folks. The warthogs, they saw our vehicle and know we like to follow leopard, lion and cheetah, and realize, uh-oh, those guys probably have a cheetah with them. Let's get out of here. And since then, we haven't been able to spot the warthog again. They have gone. Oh, there's one in the distance. There we go. One just gone behind the mound at the back there. Just gone behind the mound. Coming on the other side. You see at the back there, James. There it is. Taz gazelles are quite interesting. They generally will follow the rainfalls, and springbok and we find down in South Africa and on the western side mainly, actually have the potential to breed twice in 1 year. It's a very quick turnaround time, and it's with peaks of rainfall. And the gazelle up here would be the same as well. I don't know if Thompson's gazelle can breed twice in 1 year, but they most certainly do cue it with the rainfall. So there would be certainly a peak after the main heavy rains, and then probably another peak just around now, sort of October, November time. And whether they're able to peak at both periods, both the animal, I'm unsure, but they will time their breeding with the rains so as to provide adequate nourishment for their youngsters when it comes time for lactation and for feeding. I'm not sure exactly though, but for the Thompsons, but I'm pretty sure that it is to do with rainfall, but I'll have a look. The Topi have got 2 peaks as well. I'm not breeding twice in a year though, but most certainly after both rainfall periods that we have, the Topi have sort of a peak with regards to breeding. Okay, so a little bit of gazelle homework for me. So definitely peaking occurring during the rains. Secondary peak follows about 6 months later, with only a 5.5 to 6 month gestation period. So what is fascinating about gazelle is, and it's the same here for the Thompsons, is that the females can come into estrus within 2 weeks of calving, which means that they can calve 2 weeks later while they're still lactating. They're able to breed again or mate again, and that is what enables them to be able to breed twice in a year. So the Thompson's gazelle are the same as Springbok. They are able to produce twice in 1 year, which I think is incredible. That is what enables these populations to boom the way they do. I mean, Impala only once a year. They're the smallest. Dacre also only once a year. But the Thompson's gazelle, moving with the rainfall, moving with the seasons, moving with the lush green grass, are capable of having 2 youngsters in a year, which is really an important way of boosting a population. And, well, plenty of food. There we go, there's a bigger pig. Plenty of food for the cheetah. You don't suspect lions have too much capability of catching a Thompson's gazelle. They're incredibly fast. Enjoying a little bit of symbiotic relationships there, the warthog and the Thompson's gazelle. Both enjoying these open areas, both grazers. Thompson's gazelle being quite a selective feeder, whereas the warthog, watch out little one. He suddenly saw a big pig coming towards it and had to dart out the way. The warthog, though, being able to graze right down to the root level, being able to actually dig up and disturb the soil. Paula, it does look massive next to the Thompson's gazelle. The Thompson's gazelle are
We do apologise for the loss of feed there, but we are back with Hosey Boy, who has just pricked up in the last couple of seconds. I believe it's because of the birds that are alarm calling at him. Oh, and we have some big antelope coming over as well, some very large kudu. So perhaps he's noticed them as well, and impala. So we'll just do a bit of a 180 here for you all. So you can see a mixed herd of antelope over there, all cautiously approaching, and Hosanna is watching very intently. But yes, as I was saying, there are a few birds that were alarm calling at Ozana, even though he was just sleeping. That must be a tough life, having things shouting at you when you're just trying to take a nap in peace. But I believe that that would be alerting the antelope as well. So they will be on high alert right now, I think. But there's always that need for water as well. And there's always the need for food for Ozana. So I wonder if he is going to hunt right now. He's been teasing us a bit over the last few days. Yes, April, those kudu fawns are very gorgeous. They're also very large. They're quite a massive antelope. So I'm just going to reposition so we can get the best view of the action if it does unfold. We want to get the antelope and Ozana. Yes, Dylan, kudu do look like a leopard cake, a massive cake at that. Whoops, sorry everyone, just having a bit of trouble getting around here. So I'll just go back up. That's fine. Cool. There we go. Yes, they do look like a leopard cake. I think he would have probably a few meals out of one of those. So what are you gonna do, little man? He still seems to be watching the kudu. I'm not sure. Yes, everyone, he is a teasy. I think he just, well, I mean, leopards are opportunistic hunters in that they will take an opportunity if it arrives. So I suppose they're always got to be on the lookout, always on the grind and ready for anything, which I think is why we see this teasing kind of behaviour from Ozana. What we think could be a potential hunt might be him just getting himself in position, just in case. And right now he's definitely noticed the impala. He's watching very intently. Let's see if he's going to spring into action. I honestly think in my own... Oh, here we go. He's up. Yeah. What is he gonna do? We do apologise for the shaky camera. Alright, what's gonna happen here? Yes, this is definitely a moment we want to be seeing. We hope that this time he delivers the goods for both himself and our excitement. Ozana really loves keeping us on the edge of our seat. Paula, I am right with you on that. This is intense. It's always tense. Seeing nature in its rawest form. Nothing more. It outlines both the beauty and brutality of nature than carnivore versus prey. There's always that anticipation leading up to a hunt. Yes, Jonathan, he is definitely in stealth mode right now. I was touching on earlier how well leopards camouflage and how what would be the best word to describe? Maybe we can do a one-word tweet, guys. So, in one word, can someone describe to me the way a leopard will hunt? So, I'm not going to use my word yet, but I definitely have a word in mind for it. But I want to see what you all say. So in one word, what would you describe a leopard's hunting as? So he has gone back down, but definitely still watching these impala. The impala do seem to be retreating from the waterhole now. Has he missed another opportunity? I can't tell. The angle we're on, we can't see over the dam right now. There's only 3 impala. I think there was more drinking, so there must still be a couple up there. Well, a couple of these ones look very pregnant. Definitely look like they're about to pop. It is lambing season for the impalas right now. Chitty Chatty Meg for the one-word tweet said sneaky, and I definitely agree with that. Very sneaky, very stealthy, smooth as silk. That was the word I was going to say, is silky. The way he moves leading up to a kill. So it looks like the rest of the herd has caught up. I like that one, Lee. Ninja. One word to describe leopards hunting. It's ninja. Very ninja. I think we could just about tie a black belt around Ozana's waist. So this is about the 5th, maybe the 6th time in the last 2 or 3 days that Ozana has looked like he was going to get a kill or make a kill and has let the opportunity pass. Today I thought there's definitely more of a chance of it happening just because of how overcast it is, how cool it is. And I mean, I'm not sure whether he hunted last night or not, but that could also be a big factor into it. A lot of birds calling around us right now. There's actually a lot of birds around at the moment, I suppose, being near a body of water. And now what's Hosey looking at? Us. Yes, hello. Oh, how good is that? Seeing his face behind the bushes there. What an awesome shot. I hope you're all screenshotting away right now. That is front page magazine worthy. Well done, James. Yes, viewers, James, I think, does pay us to compliment his camera work. No. Our jobs are already hard enough without having to give false confidence to a man in need. Well, the scene is pretty dead at the moment, but we will sit and wait. And while we're doing that, let's go across to Sydney on his leisurely stroll through the bush.
So you can see that I am going now behind the green bushes. Some of the trees are excited already, and they are not worried about the weather conditions in the area. So they are just bringing back all the nutrients. Maybe those ones, they've got strong nutrient storage reservoir under the ground by the roots. So I was trying to check here just to see if we can find some of the lovely and interesting insects, but the insects are not yet convinced. So now let's quickly go and watch the baby giraffe.
Oh, look at that. It is indeed a baby giraffe. Enormous, though. It looks quite small. Looks like a mini version of Mum, but it already is almost 6 feet in height. Tall. Stands a little bit taller than myself. Can you believe it? At birth, baby giraffe are enormous. And there you go. You can see Mum. And the giraffe themselves, the youngsters, have already got very long legs. The legs need a little bit of growth as they get bigger. The neck, a lot more growth to be had. That's the only part really of the giraffe that grows. The legs are already almost where they need to be. Obviously there's a bit more still required, but look at the size. It's the perfect height to just duck its head under and suckle off of Mum. And this is a very new one. It's interesting, sometimes when you find a young giraffe, you can still see the umbilical cord, and actually if you look closely on the belly, you can still just see a little bit of it. It's not as clear. Come on, turn to the side, little one. Look how cute they are. Again, I saw a blog post yesterday for Londolozi down in the Sabi Sands, and they were looking for cheetah, just like we are. Here we go, you can just see the little bit of umbilical cord on the belly there. They were looking for cheetah as well, and their guide came across a giraffe giving birth. And they managed to record all of that. It is quite a process, and that youngster's got to fall 6 foot to the ground. But anyway, we're going to move off from here. Let's quickly go down to Djuma, where the hungry Hosanna is on the move.
Welcome back. Well, we have another situation on our hands. We have an impala approaching Hosanna. The birds are out in force and alarm calling, so it is a little bit alert, but it is coming straight towards him. And yes, I think we should be all watching along right now. Oh, this is tense. This is definitely starting to come in range for Hosanna. Welcome, internet viewers, to our special broadcast right now, where we have Hosanna and an impala very close to him. He has noticed it and is on the hunt. I am Patrick. Joining me on camera, we have James Hendry, and we are coming to you live from the western boundary of the Kruger National Park here at the Djuma Game Reserve. So the birds have stopped alarm calling now, which probably isn't going to be good for this little impala. It is going to mean that it might relax a little bit more, and look how close it is. Only about 10 meters divides predator and prey right now. Hosanna's watching very intently. MDR, the wiggles of the leopard. Yes. I'm not too sure what that actually means. Oh no, no. So the impala has just run off. I think it must have picked up something, whether it be the birds tipping it off or perhaps a smell. And another missed opportunity for the little chief here. Diego, I love these big cats too, even though they frustrate us with whether they're going to hunt or not. I could sit with one all day and just watch it sleeping and hanging about. But there is no more antelopes around. So I don't think we're going to get anything happening here, so we are going to stop this special broadcast. But if you do want to join in the rest of the safari, go on YouTube, type in SafariLive, and we'll see you there. If not, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. How disappointing, another missed opportunity for the little chief. But out here, when it is dry and you are near a water source like this little leopard, then opportunities present themselves very often. So I'm sure he's just hedging his bets, taking his time and waiting for that perfect opportunity. Now that last one we had was very close. I think it was in a good position, but no good in the end. Well, let's see if this next lot of impala entices the little leopard. And while we do that, let's head across to Sydney, who's got something much bigger than a leopard.
Look at that. I have got this ant here, and the ant has got another insect that I cannot see what it is. And these ants, it was 3 of them, and these ants, they are not fighting against the insect. They are every time eating something where the insect has gone past. So this is showing that the insect is absorbing sugar from the tree, and when the insects defecate, these ants are taking that fluid in the form of sugar, because ants don't eat solid. And if you can check, this tree has got quite a lot of things that we don't understand here. I will show you just now. Let me just move to this tree, to this side.
Yeah, coming.
So we'll show you something interesting here. If you look at this plant, it has got quite a lot of knobs going down there, which has got kind of stars, and other small ants are also walking here. So this plant is also dominated by some of the parasites, because when I'm looking at the condition of the tree is not healthy. You know, trees also get affected by some of the mites. Just like what happens to the lions when the lions has got the mange. Trees also got bitten by some of the mites which spread diseases on their leaves. And you will see them, the leaves underneath having quite a lot of rash. So that is coming from the mites. Mites don't only transmit diseases to the animals, also transmit diseases to the trees. Just from a bite, trees get affected. So you can see this tree is not in a good condition. Look at this. Look at the leaves here. You can see there's quite a lot of holes in them, and also underneath there's quite a lot of markings there. So maybe it was a scale insect, because the scale insect and the ants, they are very much close, and their relationship is about sugar. So the scale insects, they give the ants quite a lot of sugar. Ants, they farm insects, because ants are responsible to protect the tree against the insects as well as the big animals. Because big animals, when it's too much ants, they avoid them. So now the ants, instead of doing protection, they farm insects so that they can in return get sugar from these insects. When the insects absorb too much sugar from the tree, they end up defecating sugar, and that is what they eat. Paula, this ant looks huge, but let's look at something here. If you look at this ant, he's got something very big at the back. And the waist, you see, the stomach of the ant is on the other side of the waist. It's not like us where the stomach is before the waist. Here is after. And that is a sign that ants cannot be able to eat solids. That's why they must have to wait for the liquid. Also, if you go to their nest, the ants don't eat solids. But we have seen them every day holding and carrying solids back to the nest. This is what is going to happen to the nest. They give their solids to their larvae. Their larvae are white and round, and they don't have this kind of a shape. They don't have figure on them. And these larvae is the ones who eat solids. And after that, in return, larvae will secrete a lot of fluid from the mouth, and they will go and take it. You know, we have got this, what is called trophallaxis. Trophallaxis is when the animals are giving each other food. But there's two ways. We have got what is called the anal trophallaxis, where the animals get some of the food from the anal part or anal region of the others. And where then we have got the trophallaxis, where they give each other food from the mouth. So when these insects are taking something from the anal region of another insect, then that is called an anal trophallaxis. You can see they are all coming here to this scale insect. So now let's go back to Steve.
Welcome back. Well, hungry Hosanna with the never-ending appetite. We have moved on from our little giraffe and mum that was moving away from us. Managed to take a couple of nice photos, I think, though. I believe a few screenshots were taken of the baby. They are just the cutest of things. And you want to notice that the ossicones are already up on the head. When the baby comes out of the birth canal, it comes with head and legs kind of together, and the ossicones are flat on the head. They're not fused, because you can imagine those could add some difficulty in childbirth. So they're actually flat on the head when they come out, and as it starts to mature, they actually fuse onto the skull. Ossify. It's probably why they're called ossicones. Anyway, we've caught up with some more wildebeest in the open. This is the herd we saw prancing around earlier, looking all wild and disheveled, but not quite sure exactly what it is that got them all uppity. As I suggested, it might have just been the temperature, because here they are across the plains, seemingly relaxed again. Well, we're in the area. We're going to have a little scan. We did have a hyena with us earlier that unfortunately we lost signal with you all, or our internet crashed. I'm not sure what happened, but we had a hyena that was doing not too much. It might have been the reason why they were all running around. But here they are once again, zebra, Tommy gazelles, and wildebeest. Fern, yes, well, it is. There's a lot of reasons why males have the ossicones, but for females to have them, it's one of those unknown sort of questions, or answers, should I say. But it's the only animal that is born, as far as I'm aware, with sort of protrusions on the top of their head. And if they were fused, well, it would be a very difficult childbirth, trying to get that animal out. That's already coming out with its neck and feet together. And if there is an extension on the head, well, the head comes out quite flat with the long neck and the jaw with the feet. So it comes out as sort of like a spear in a way. And if it had the ossicones attached, it probably wouldn't come out very easily. And, well, it's always something that is quite bizarre to me, is why are they born with them in the first place? All antelope eventually develop horns or some form of protrusion on the head if they are male, or if they are female in some species. But the giraffe, one of those interesting facts, isn't it? Ossicones, extensions of their skull that fuse or ossify not too long after birth. But when they're young like that, that young animal, probably if we were able to get close to it, you'd be able to actually move it around on the head, hasn't quite yet ossified. Trish, these open views are spectacular. I'm trying to soak them in as much as I can. There really is something quite special about these open places, and just the multitudes of animals that we see out here as well. Just mind-boggling. I'm very, very blessed we have been. Jason, well, male giraffe use their ossicones for fighting. Basically, it's extension of the skull, just adding to the hammer-like head that they already have. The females, the purpose of them is completely unknown to me or to most people, but detrimental, I don't think so. I don't think there would be any change in a female's life if she had no ossicones. Males, well, I suppose they'd still have the same sort of head, just without the sort of two extensions on. But I don't think detrimental. No doubt if giraffe didn't have ossicones, they'd probably survive just okay. It's the fact that they're fused, that they're not fused to the head, that allows them to be born. If they were fused, well, they probably wouldn't be able to come out of the birth canal, to be honest. But it's a very relaxed morning in the Mara. All the animals are very, very chilled. We seemingly are finding the herds that have not been pestered throughout the night. Where are the predators? We're asking ourselves. We are trying, folks. We are trying to find them for you. But nonetheless, being out here in these open spaces is still very, very magical. But exciting as it may sound, down in Djuma, Mr. Sydney has found some hairballs.
So you can see here I've got some evidence of some hairs. And we've got evidence of some bones. Some of the bones look like the teeth structure. But it's not real, these are bones. So now the question is, where is this coming from? So let me give you an answer that these bones that you are seeing here is the bones which are coming from the stomach of an animal. And here we are suspecting that this has been one of the lions. So these are the bones which were not digested in the stomach, and they get stuck by the intestine. When they are stuck by the intestine, an animal must have to find a way in order to get rid of these hairs and these bones from the stomach to the outside, because it's not digested. But in order to do that, they have to go through a certain process sometimes. When seeing animals feeding on grasses, that is when they want the grasses in order to kickstart the process of taking back the hairballs. Hairballs, when they are in the stomach, animals, when they eat grasses will make the animal sick at the beginning, because when they eat a little bit of grasses, that is when they get nutrients. But when they eat quite a lot of grasses, it makes the animal to feel sick. And when they are sick, it makes them vomit. And that is when they are going to vomit. And now, let's quickly go back to Pat, who's got the interesting sighting of the elephant at the dam.
Elephants at the dam, I do have for sure. How good is this? Oh no! I'm not sure whether the camera just... No, sorry, we weren't looking where I was looking. A little one just fell over. Slipped over on a log. Can we get that, James? They're helping it up here in the... So they are helping the little one up with the trunks here. Oh, that is so cute. The silly little Bella. So this is incredible. Now this is definitely not one giant herd. This would be a mixed herd of smaller herds that have come together. And as it is a lot drier at the moment, you will find that there will be a higher density of elephants when there is water, where there is water, should I say. This is just absolutely beautiful. The cicadas are singing their loud song. The dam is absolutely filled up. It's cool after having a real hot spell the last few days. This is just incredible. MDR, it is most definitely bath time or pool time or spa time, whatever you want to think of it as. This is one of my favourite things to see out here. Ellie's drinking, and I'm sure in a few moments one or two will get in and go for a little dip as well. We have got a whole range of ellies here, from young to old. We've got the real little ones across there, probably not much older than a year at all. I swear I saw one coming over that would definitely be less than a year. It was small, but I can't see it at the moment. Right up to the old cows. So there's teenagers in there as well. This is beautiful, a real family gathering. Yes, RSS, green water, definitely better than no water at all. I'm sure if they were given the choice, they would go for something, a bit cleaner, but this is what they got. So we got a little one bathing to the left down here. Oh, baby's first bath. Oh, I'm sure it's not its first, but how cute is this? Look at it blowing bubbles with its trunk. Oh. This is just amazing. Its trunk is just so little, splashing about, learning to use it, learning that it can suck water up and blow air out. And I think you'll probably all notice that this one does have quite a short trunk. Sherry, very cute, yes. And this this short trunk is serving a purpose, because if it was too long at this stage, they just don't have that control over it. They don't have any control. Well, they do have control, but it's like a baby trying to learn to use its arms or its legs. It just doesn't come for a while. So they are a lot shorter, so they don't step on it, or it doesn't get in their way at all. They can learn to use it. It's like in humans. You'll generally find people that grow really fast will have less coordination than people that grow really slowly, because they have these shorter limbs which are closer to them and easier to coordinate and move. It's so cute. Look at it putting its head under there. Just learning what this new medium is of liquid. Slowly figuring its life out. And I can tell that this one is probably less than a year, because when it stands up, you can still see it underneath the belly of the mother, and that is a good indication that it's usually under a year. And this is so the mother can block them from sunlight as well. It looks like it wants to go for a suckle now. Oh, aren't we being treated today by this little Ellie? Come on, you can get there, you can find it. I love Snacks. Yes, he is still very pink. Still got that young elephant look to it. I wonder if it's got a young elephant smell. You know, with babies or dogs, or baby dogs, they have that certain smell to them when they're babies. I wonder if Ellies are the same.
Umbilical cord.
Oh, there's still umbilical cord. Yes, there is. Wow, so this must be a very new arrival to the world. Very new indeed. Oh, we are blessed today, people. What a beautiful sighting. That was a very quick drink, actually. They were all in and out within about 3 or 4 minutes. Didn't leave us much of a show, but that was definitely quality viewing. Very quality. So we have this last one making her way away. Linda, yes, I'm right with you on that. Absolutely adorable. There's not much cuter out here than a baby Ellie. I just absolutely love them. They're so cute, and a lot of their customs are very similar to those of a baby human, which I think is what makes them so cute. I'm just going to reposition. Linda, it is walking very well for a newborn. You will find with elephants they do develop their walking pretty quickly because they do have to keep up with the herd. The herd will obviously not leave it behind, but when you've got all of these alleys, marching on, you've got to keep up. And I wonder how this has all affected Hosey. I can still see him in the bushes there. I think he's remained pretty unaffected by the elephants. He's very well hidden in those bushes there. There he is, the little chief. The elephant's going very close. Yes, yes, I think Hosanna was enjoying that elephant sighting too. I actually do wonder that, especially with intelligent mammals, whether they do enjoy seeing other animals in action, whether it's something that they like seeing. I mean, I suppose for a lot of cases out here it is dangerous for animals to be around other species, especially if they are territorial. But yeah, I do often wonder what animals think about other animals out here. A beautiful sighting that was with the elephants, and the best thing is that the little leopard didn't get scared away either. So we're going to stay here with this cat, but I believe over in the Mara, Stivovo is still on the search for his cats.
Scouring the landscape, all I can show you for now is more Thompson's gazelle and zebra. And there are loads of them around, loads of Tommies, as they're collectively known, or what's the word, affectionately known as. They're all over the place, but we've yet to find one of the fast cats that is in search of these. Normally you look for the prey, and well, the predators shouldn't be too far behind. But we are laboriously moving through these open grassland burnt system area. The zebra, Thompson's gazelle, all over the place. And what's really interesting with the breeding of them, if they are able to breed twice a year, the youngsters, for 2 weeks after giving birth or after calving, the youngsters will actually stay completely flat and hidden. Mum won't come too close. She'll only come a few times a day to provide milk, but won't actually spend the day with the youngster. And it's quite incredible how they can disappear. And there's a topee on top of the sort of rocky area. Now remember, James and I were in this area a month and a half ago with Kenya, and she completely walked past a young Thompson's gazelle that we hadn't seen. We only saw on our way out when we were using the spotlight to navigate our way home. We found this Tommy lying flat, ears down on the ground, and well, invisible if it wasn't for the spotlight, and very hard to see. And that is how they get past the first 2 weeks of their life, is by spending it hidden in the long grass or in the short grass, because there was almost no grass at all. That animal was completely camouflaged. A different strategy to that of the zebra. The baby zebras have to obviously follow mum from an early age. They get lost in the masses of the herd. But there is a 100% success rate apparently with cheetah and foals, Thompson's gazelle foals. So if they do see one, well, it's game over for the foal. So the foal needs to do everything they possibly can to remain undetected before joining the wagging tail of the herd. Well, from our little gazelles here in the Mara, Sydney is on the search for everything little and small.
Look at that. I have got something. Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that. Look, you can see they are now confusing and reacting. Maybe that was when they picked up a vibration or when they pick up my stick. These are the caterpillars. So these caterpillars, they are going to stay like this here in order to avoid predation. And they normally come down and go up for eating purposes at night. They are very much relaxed, and these are the ones that itch too much if you touch them. So now, I just want to show you the amount of damage these caterpillars are causing by this tree. Here where we are, there's not much damage. But if you can come here, you will see that this leaves has been eaten a lot. And this is nothing to the damage I'm going to show you. This is just a little bit of damage. So come this side and see what these caterpillars are doing. And they're here. Look at these caterpillars here. These sticks are showing you that they are green sticks and they were holding leaves. Where are the leaves now? Completely finished. So these kind of insects is the ones who are causing damage to the tree, because now the tree, in order to make food, they rely on leaves. And when there is no leaves, they cannot make food. They can only use the reserved food. So what is happening here now is that the insects are negatively affecting the tree. Elephants, they can push down trees a lot, but they don't eat anything and everything. Here, all the leaves are being eaten. But the tree is going to react later on by releasing quite a lot of growth hormones and try to bring more leaves again. So look at these caterpillars here. Some of them are still eating. You can see there, these ones are eating. They're even eating those sticks where the leaves are growing from. The caterpillars, mostly they turn into a moth or a butterfly. If you come here during the summer season, there is a certain stage where you will find the butterflies flying from southern side of the country towards north. Where these butterflies are choosing each other, or where the wedding ceremony are taking place, they take place up by the mountains. So the males who cannot fly high up to reach the crest of the mountains, they are not chosen. It means they cannot survive. So the caterpillars, the butterflies, females only allows the males who can fly high up and get them from the top. That is where the choosing of partners are taking place. These are very beautiful caterpillars. They look like eyebrows, and they are making me hungry because they look like the mopani worms when they are still very young. Me and the mopani worms, we get along. So I can see that some of them are still eating now during the daytime. So I think this is a great sighting. My first caterpillars in Juma. So now let's head back to Hosanna and see what Hosanna is planning about to do this morning.
Yes, Hosanna has transformed and grown horns and got a more fawn-coloured coat. No, that is a complete joke. We do have an impala in front of us, a male impala, and it is in very close vicinity to Hosanna. We are not sure. I can't actually see Hosanna's body. We can just kind of see a couple of spots here through the bush. Oh, he has moved. Okay, he's definitely interested. He's moving a bit more now. And this male is completely unaware that he is lurking in the bushes. I would say there's probably about a bit over 10, maybe 15 metres. Oh, nah, between 10 and 15 metres. So about 35 to 40 feet between the two. And I think if it goes to drink, it would probably be the best time for Hosanna to strike, because it will be distracted by the water. We can see that it's got an oxpecker there on its back. Probably eating at ticks and parasites there. Bo, I agree with you. I do hope the little chief doesn't go starving. He has made a bit of a name for himself down here at the pan for taking impala. So he's definitely hasn't had any shortage of food. What do they know this? Oh, they're going closer. That's not the way I would be running if I was them. This might be within range for Hosanna now. Let's wait and see whether it comes closer or not. Where is he? He's done a good job of hiding himself, that's for sure. Oh, I can see him. Oh, I think he was just about to make a move then. Oh, my heart stopped for a split second then. I don't think that he's going to make this hunt. But we do have more impala coming down to our right now. This place is just an impala stop-in. Every moment we've spent here, we have different herds coming down. Of course, very cautiously. I can't seem to hear any alarm calling at the moment, which works in Ozana's favour. Ooh, they're walking straight towards him. I wonder if he's seen them. I can't see him at the moment. Ooh, this is very dangerous territory for these females. Doesn't look like any of them have lambs with them. Oh no, oh no. What's gonna happen here? This impala is very close. Yes, Shauna. Uh-oh, indeed. This is not smart for the impala. This is not a good situation to be in. Surely he's gonna take one. They're so close. I can't believe this right now. Yes, yikes. Paula, that is a good word to describe this. Yikes. Tense. Is he going to make a move? Is he not? Will these impala notice him? They completely haven't. There's so little distance between the two right now. Yes, launch. Launch. Do what Top is saying right now and launch. That was a perfect opportunity.
Disappeared.
Shauna, I'm not sure what he's waiting for. I'm really not sure. The sun has started to poke through in the last 5 to 10 minutes, so maybe he's getting hot and lethargic. I honestly don't think he ate last night. My opinion is that he didn't feed last night, or he didn't go hunting. So I'm assuming he would be pretty hungry. The impala are starting to get a little bit more comfortable around the water. Drinking is a vital part of these guys' lives, but it is also a dangerous part. So you will notice when they do start drinking that there will always be one on guard, and they'll be very cautious, because predators love an opportunity to come at unsuspecting prey, and the most unsuspecting generally is when they're drinking or eating. So you can even see now they're very cautiously approaching that water. Wild, yes, it is a great breakfast for Hosey Boy. Very good breakfast, full of protein, full of fat. But it's whether he wants to capitalise on this opportunity. I wouldn't say it's been served up to him on a silver platter, but the opportunity is definitely still there if he wants it. There is quite a bit of distance between them though, so he would have to be very stealthy, and they are actually drinking facing his direction. So perhaps the opportunity isn't really there. But if anyone's going to make something out of nothing, it's going to be the little chef. And I've kind of lost him. I think I can just see the top of his head at the moment. Well, let's stake out the action here, see if Ozana does decide to strike, but in the meantime, let's go see the little things that Sydney's finding on Bushwalk.
The little things are now hiding. I am standing next to one of the thorn trees now, and I can see this thorn tree is starting to develop back the leaves, and the thorns are here. These thorns are here to serve a purpose. The tree is trying to protect itself, to regulate browsing, because it's not easy for these animals to get hold of the leaves when they are thorns. But other animals, such as giraffes, they must have to access here. You can see now it's during the morning sun. This is how the giraffe get hold of the leaves. They extend the tongue like, but if you look at the tongue here, for the giraffe is black. Reason for that is to avoid sunburn, because the sun, when it's burning, it can easily burn the tongue. So they must have to get there, and has got a very sticky saliva. That sticky saliva helps them in order to avoid the thorns. Another thing is the saliva helps them as well in order to dilute tannin, poison produced by these trees for protection purposes. So you can see that it's quite a combination for these animals to access the leaves. The tongue must have to be protected if it's a very tall animal like giraffe to avoid a sunburn. It's unlike the kudu, who will come and focus here at the bottom, whereby the tongue is not exposed well to the sun. For the giraffe, it must go up. So now let's go back to a pet who's got the impala and Hosanna at the moment.
Frustrations are high right now. We just had another impala. Yes, he's there. We were so close just then. But they're going back to investigate. And now we're getting some alarm calls. We can see that they have located Ozana now. And you will notice that they are moving closer, which is something that animals will tend to do out here when they notice a predator, is come a bit closer, because it's better to have them in their eyesight and be closer than leave them out of their eyesight. But can we hear that calling? Their alarm call? We'll just wait. Awesome, I'm glad we can all hear that. So this is the noise that they will make to alert others of his presence. Oh, geez, that was close. It was almost a full strike then. But I don't think he's going to strike now. Lara Moore, great to hear from you again. Yeah, see, I think he might be experimenting with his hunting technique, considering there is so many opportunities and so much food out here. And it looks like he's crouching. He's definitely moving right now. Maybe he's trying to... They are not taking their chances. He's still stalking though. Definitely... Now he's laid back down. But all eyes are on him right now. Yes, FC, I think, is very right there, Emma. He's sulking. He's licking his wounds, metaphorically. Jeez. He's still up? He's moving, but he doesn't really seem to be in stealth mode now. He's just, I think, trying to find another comfy location. The antelope are really letting him know that they know he's there though. There's calling, shouting coming from all directions. I can't think of a word to describe this shouting. It's a different kind of sound. And the grey go-away bird we can hear joining in as well with its distinctive go-away call. Go away! Go away! Taz, leopards will sleep in trees. It's definitely not uncommon for them to sleep in trees. We actually got Osana sleeping in a jackalberry tree the other day, but that's not where they'll always go. We'll often find them sleeping on the ground, usually under the shade of a nice bush, in a little crack or a dip where they can get wind on a hot day. So, I mean, they'll sleep kind of anywhere that's suitable for them, whether it be up a tree or on the ground. But I don't know how they manage to stay in a tree once they have gotten in there and sleep. I know that if I was doing that, I would definitely fall out. But the strength and balance of a cat is unlike that of a human. Well, another tease here from Hosey Boy. This is becoming all too common. But you never know what's going to happen, so we are going to stay with him a little longer. And I believe Steve is also struggling over in the Mara. Let's go check it out.
Day, or every hunt, we see him with lots and lots of carcasses, but that doesn't mean he gets them all. He does spend a lot of time being chased away or being spotted. He's still very over-eager sometimes. But talking about spots, we have had no luck ourselves this morning. This entire burnt area on this side, we've given a really good go. But no joy. The animals haven't even assisted us in finding anything. We got that one lone hyena that was in the middle of the block, just chilling. But for the most part, it's been a beautiful morning. Lots and lots of animals. I'm definitely going to come and have another look this afternoon. Just such a nice, spectacular area. Some beautiful scenes. And at some stage, no doubt, it'll attract some form of the predatory kind. But that is the way it works, folks. A safari is the search of big game under African skies. Firefly, they are indeed 50 kilometers an hour is the speed limit, but to go that on these roads is actually it's quite dangerous, to be honest. We never really go more than 30, maybe at the most 40, but then my speedometer doesn't work. But you can kind of feel it from the wind in the face. There's kind of a wind feeling, and you know how fast you're going. But it's nice to just meander around and have a look. It's obviously very difficult to see if you're going too fast, and the reason for speed limits is, well, first of all, driving fast on dirt roads is very dangerous, and animals just have the ability to just jump out in front of you. That happens quite regularly, especially at night. At night, you've got to be extra careful. So indeed, speed limits is one of the rules of the park. Kruger Park is the exact same. It's also 50 kilometers an hour for tourists. If you do work there, you get something known as a kuru kop, which basically means a kuru head sticker. Oh, there's some raptor just landed on the floor in front of us here. What is that? Let's go have a look what it's landed on. Looks like a steppe eagle. I'm not sure what it is. Just landed on something just here. Looks like it might have just wolfed it down already, whatever it was that it grabbed. Just came in, chased off another bird. Yes, it is a steppe eagle. I saw it doing something with its head. I think it might have just swallowed something. An aerial predator moved in, chased off a smaller predator. Looked to be a kite that took off. And there we go. There goes the eagle. Back to his perch. As always, all predators, regardless of species, are opportunistic and will outcompete smaller and weaker. Just below where that eagle landed, James, if you can look into the long grass, there's a mongoose looking up. Mongoose standing on his back feet. He's looking at the eagle going, "What are you doing?" Looks like a banded mongoose. I could be wrong though. Can't see too much of it. But that typical sort of meerkat mongoose pose. Oops, and there he goes. He's gone. They do that for detecting predators as well as being able to see above the tall grass. They don't have the legs that the larger predators have. But anyway, before it runs away, let's quickly go down to Sydney and his very fast moving animal.
So you can see I've got one of the small five. Look at this leopard tortoise. So we just found him just by the open space here where we are. And the sun is very, very much hot. I know the tortoise, they don't like it when the sun is too hot. And for them to survive the dry season, they do store quite a lot of water by the busa, which is a part in their body, which is used to store water. If I pick him up now, he's going to secrete a fluid, and that slimy fluid is the water which is kept to survive this kind of dry season. They are very much proactive. So they also hibernate, they dig on the ground and they hide. So the interesting part is these kind of animals, the temperature of the nest determines the sex of the little ones. Where you will have females at high temperatures, males at low temperatures. Look at the head going in and out. There is a very interesting traditional story about this head. You know, where I come from and other areas here in South Africa, when you are married and my wife is not interested to have another wife to come and join, she can be able to come and do some of the things with the ingredients in order to make me stay with her without looking at anybody else. If you check now, when that head is withdrawn, it means it's hiding. So it means that when I am with someone else, Robbie, these eyes are so beautiful. I can see that. So when the head is withdrawn, it means I won't have interest to anybody else except my wife at home. So this is what they used. This was a great sighting. So we don't want to expose these tortoises too much because tortoises, they also get predated. But when they pass at this stage and become adults, the shell, when it's strong, they can survive 150 to 200 years. So now let's go back from a leopard tortoise to another leopard.
Welcome back, where we are the only feed at the dam right now because the dam cam has broken. So we do apologise for that, and our tech team is working endlessly and tirelessly to get it fixed. So fully apologise for that, but at least we still do have one camera down here and one mediocre presenter, and perhaps an even more mediocre cameraman. So we have Nyala joining the water right now. Thanks FC for jumping to our defences there. That wasn't a true statement. So the herd that they're with is the same one that was alarm calling at Hosanna earlier. So I really don't think that there's going to be any action here at the moment. But peacefully drinking is sometimes the better alternative as well. It's nice to see them all getting their fill of water on this very hot day. As soon as we go off air, I'm going to be doing the same thing and guzzling down some water. Well, what an interesting drive it was today. Very good. We had the elephants and many failed attempts at hunting from Hosanna. Well, not even attempts, but you know how it is. Thank you all so much for joining us on today's sunrise safari. If this wasn't enough for you, we will have a sunset safari at 4 p.m. this afternoon. We hope that you can all join us then. Thank you all and have a wonderful day.